What's up, this is Truth the Barber artist, and welcome to the Whole Truth podcast. I want to say what's up to everyone, and thank you for listening. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you follow my podcast. So a lot of cool things been happening in the last week. They hit 1 million views, and for the first time ever on one of my videos. That was pretty cool. And also hit 20,000 followers on the same platform, which was TikTok. So make sure you guys follow me on TikTok at Truth the Barber Artist. Great platform. I'm having a lot of fun working with that platform right now. And it was a big deal for me because it's the first time that I've ever reached 1 million views on one video. Yeah, that's a big accomplishment. And I know some people who follow me on Instagram, they're like, "Oh God, we gotta hear this again." I know, sorry, but it was very special because when you do what I do, which is social media comedy and skits and all that type of stuff, that's one of the goals that you hope to accomplish, which is to hit 1 million views on just one video. That to me it sets the bar for your content. It's just something that you definitely look forward to accomplishing it, and when you do, it just feels like it's an instant high because you know that the hard work you've been putting in is paying off. It's actually working, whatever you're doing. So the fact that you get that many views on one video is amazing, and the fact that I did it in 24 hours, that was even more amazing to me. So I hit that number, 1 million views in 24 hours, and less than 24 hours, but it was pretty close. That's unheard of. So, it's a video that I posted about a gentleman who came in to the barber school. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a barber instructor, but it was a video that I recorded of a gentleman with a special type of hairdo, and what he did was he put zip ties on his hair. So he actually bought the zip ties, and he put zip ties on his hair, and he kind of made like a little hat, almost like a protective piece of armor, and you can lift it up. It was sort of like you're lifting the hood of a car. So he made sort of like a little cover for the top of his head. He did have a little receding hairline, so I'm guessing he probably wanted to cover up some of the imperfections up there, and so he made a sort of like a little hat out of old hair, and it was attached to his head. So it was just funny because I recorded it, and while I was recording, he was a good sport, and he just came clean, and he mentioned, "Hey, I got the zip ties from AutoZone." So that was one of the funniest parts of the video where we mentioned that the zip ties were from AutoZone. And so that video received about 1 million views in less than 24 hours. And it was surprising because I posted that same video on Instagram. It did all right. It didn't go that crazy. I think I also posted it on YouTube. It was all right. It didn't do that great as it did on TikTok, but TikTok is one of the most organic platforms out there. If you guys are not on TikTok and you are into social media and anything that you do when it comes to business, whether it's comedy, whether it's acting, whatever you do, even if it's rapping, if it's music or whatever the case is, whatever you do, if you're not on TikTok, you're missing out. It's one of the most organic platforms, and I definitely highly recommend it. It's actually it's actually my favorite platform right now. My favorite platform used to be, it was a cross between YouTube and Instagram, but TikTok has taken over. It's actually very fun. It's a little bit limited. They have a lot more rules than Instagram. I had to clean it up. I like to do my videos with the ladies sometimes, but I had to clean it up to join up on TikTok. Even though I could put some of my old stuff still that I did with some of the female comedians that I've worked with, but I still had to clean it up to post on TikTok. So if you're going to join TikTok, just make sure that you read their terms, their terms, the rules that they have, because if you don't, you're probably going to get banned if you're putting all types of content. So just make sure that you read their terms, agreements, so you know the do's and the don'ts of TikTok. You do got to clean it up a little bit more. You can't post gory stuff. You can't post stuff that's too sexual. They're very strict about that stuff. Sexual orientated or whatever the case is, visually, that is. I don't know about visual. Also, sort of the sounds. Also, that if it's too explicit, they don't want you to post that. Like, it's crazy though, because I posted a video the other day. It was, a skit that I did with a female friend of mine, and she pretty much just had a pair of scissors and was she was licking the scissors, and then she was making these little moans, sort of like to give it a little bit more of an effect, to make it sound like she was trying to be erotic with the scissors. It was funny. You guys, if you want to see the video, you can check it out on my Instagram. But yeah, she can do this trick with her tongue, and her tongue splits in two. So she looks like she has two tongues. Yeah, it's really amazing. Sort of like a lizard. So she's like she's like the lizard girl. But she was making it look like she was licking the scissors, and I posted the video on TikTok thinking, they'll probably give me a pass. It's not that bad. But, I was wrong. They didn't even let it get on. Like, sometimes they'll let videos get posted, and then they'll probably wait a few hours, and then they'll tell you, oh, this video has been flagged, or whatever the case is. It's been removed. It's gone against the guidelines of TikTok, whatever the case is. But that video didn't even get on to get to that point. They just completely did not let me post there at all. But, I see other people on TikTok, because I go around and I look at other people who are on TikTok, and I saw this couple. I'm not going to say their names, but it's a couple, and they posted some videos. They do some pretty explicit stuff, and I felt that it was a little bit more edgy than my video. My video was a little bit more like some quirky comedy, But I don't know. For some reason, the stuff that this couple posts, it just seems a little bit more stronger, a little bit more heavy than the stuff that I posted, that TikTok didn't want to let me post. But for some reason, TikTok doesn't mess with them, and they're verified and everything. So I'm guessing when you get verified, that it kind of helps. It helps you get away with murder a little bit more. So the platforms, they give you a little break. And I'm like, man, that's kind of messed up, because they don't let the little people build up to get to that point. They give us a hard time until you get verified. So, but yeah, that aside from that, TikTok is pretty awesome. I would definitely recommend TikTok. And if I could offer any advice to people who are going to go on TikTok, besides reading the terms of the guidelines, is just make sure that when you post something, make sure that it's something that is either entertaining or educational. And I think it goes the same for any platform, but especially YouTube. I would say that those are the two top things people look for, which is entertainment or information. So I think it's the same thing for TikTok. People want entertainment or information, something that they can tag a friend. They can tag a friend and say, hey, look at this, or check this out. And if it's entertaining, it's something that people will comment on. And one thing I noticed about TikTok is that comments do push your videos up. So it allows more people to see it, the more that people comment, and also the likes. So yeah, just make sure that's the advice that I can offer as far as TikTok goes. Yep, so TikTok, highly recommended. Man, I am still full from breakfast. The only thing, I did not eat breakfast in the morning. I ate breakfast probably a little bit after lunch. So yeah, it was just one of those days where I woke up and it was busy. I had things to do in the morning. I had to prepare for the podcast and amongst other things. But yeah, shout out to Avenue Diner in Richmond Hill. They're always hooking me up. They're always coming through, and they came through during this whole entire quarantine thing, and then some. So it's one of the diners that has been open throughout, and they've definitely provided some great food in the process. Yeah, so if anybody's out in Queens and you around the Richmond Hill area, Queens, New York, definitely look up Avenue Diner. I highly recommend it. Great food, great service, and they deliver. Yeah, but I think it's very important that we support our local businesses as much as we can, because this whole lockdown's been a little tough for everyone. So, as everyone knows, barbershops have opened. They opened up last Monday, the 22nd. But what I'm noticing about that is that a lot of barbershops are using masks and some aren't. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I'm gonna bring on a barber who actually got sick with COVID-19, and he's going to talk to us about his experience. Yeah, so that's coming up later. What's going on in the news? I heard that Snoop Dogg is recording in the studio with Kanye.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And Dr. Dre. Yeah, so all three of them have been reportedly in the studio working together. But the thing about that is a lot of people are upset because of Snoop Dogg. They're saying that Snoop Dogg is sort of a hypocrite. Reason being that Snoop had a lot to say about Kanye when he was wearing that Make America Great Again hat. And so it was known that Snoop was talking negatively about Kanye. And the fact that now he's working with him in the studio, it kind of rubs people the wrong way. So I kind of understand where people are coming from, but there's something that everyone has to understand. And it all comes down to this. A lot of these artists are all about the business. They're all about the money and about just making music. They're not about the beef. They're not about, all of that street stuff. They're pretty much, if they can go get into the studio with someone and collaborate, whatever, it doesn't matter the history that's behind that. They're going to do it. Not all artists are like that. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but some of them will bypass even whatever beef has gone on in the past. They'll just shake hands and squash it, and they'll just be like, hey, man, let's just make some music and let's make it happen. And I think that's where Snoop Dogg comes in. But, Snoop Dogg is running with Dre. He's running with Dr. Dre. He's been with him for years. That's his man. And you know what? Dre is down to work with Kanye. And not for nothing, but Kanye is a genius. He's a musical genius. He's actually one of the best producers of all time. He's up there, and the man has his history also. So for Snoop Dogg to say, hey, you know what? I got beef with this guy. I don't want to work with him. And, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I can't say how bad Snoop wanted to smack Kanye. I don't know what was going on there, how deep that beef got or how deep it was. But it's ancient history now. And the case of the matter is that right now they're going to work in the studio together, and they're cooking something up. Something big is happening. Just to have Dr. Dre and Kanye West under the same studio is crazy. Just to think about that collaboration. And Snoop Dogg's, I'm thinking Snoop Dogg was like, you know what, I got to be part of this. So whatever situation that was in between Kanye and Snoop, I'm pretty sure it's over now. It's all about getting paid. So I can see that. I can see it being a business in that perspective. But if you're talking about street cred and just your reputation, it makes Snoop look bad. It actually makes him look bad. Ultimately, it comes down to, does he care? And I'm pretty sure he's not going to really care. He's just going to have his own reason for doing it. He's probably going to have an explanation behind it. But are people going to buy it? Are people going to say, you know what, we understand? And it depends on what the reason is for him saying, you know what, I'm going to work with Kanye. And are people going to accept it? And some people are not going to accept it. It doesn't matter what it is. Some people are just going to be like, hey, man, this guy is fake. He's a hypocrite. The fact that he's working with Kanye again, it doesn't matter to me what the reason is. It's just stupid. It makes him look stupid. It makes him look fake. And you know what? I've always been a Snoop Dogg fan. I like Snoop. I think he's a legend in the game. And for when I heard it, I was surprised. Everybody always has their own reason for doing everything. And there's always stuff going on behind the scenes that never come out. There's things that happen behind the scenes in the music industry that never come out. And people sometimes never find out until years later, when a book comes out, or maybe somebody talks about that whole situation and kind of brings light to whatever the situation was. So we don't know what the reason is. We don't know what the reality of it is. We just know that it happened. And so people are upset about that. I could kind of see why, but let's wait till we find out what the reason was. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to come out soon. But Kanye is, regardless of the fact how much people hate Trump and how much people talk bad about Trump, everybody knows Kanye is his boy. Kanye is Donald Trump's boy, and that's a fact. They have openly said that they are close friends, and Donald Trump always praises Kanye. He says, yeah, that's my friend, that's my boy, or whatever. He's like a son, I think he said one time, I pretty much remember him saying that Kanye was like a son to him. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So, and they've actually made public appearances together, meeting up. They're not secretive about it. It's not a secret that they're cool. So it is a little. It kind of I can see how it rubs a lot of people the wrong way that Dr. Dre and Snoop are doing stuff with Kanye. But hey, man, it is what it is, and hopefully it will bring a good result, a good end result to hip hop. To see what those three come up with. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And then everybody will forget about what Snoop Dogg did. They will forget about the fact that he did decide to work with Kanye after talking negative about him. So we'll see how that plays out. So a lot of barbershops have opened, like I mentioned, last Monday. And we have a barber that is going to come on next, and he's going to be talking about his experience with COVID-19. So don't go away. That's coming up next. Hey, this is Truth the Barber Artist, and you're listening to the Whole Truth Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Truth the Barber Artist, and you can also follow my podcast on Apple iTunes at Truth the Barber Artist. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. Hey, and welcome back, everybody. This is Truth the Barber Artist, and I have a barber here who he goes by the name of Eric, and he actually contracted the virus. And I don't know the details of if he was working when he contracted it, but we're going to find out all the details. He's here with us right now. Eric, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Truth?
What's going on, man? Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So tell us, what's your status now? Are you in the process of going for your master barber's license? Are you licensed, or what's the situation with that?
Yeah, I'm currently in the process of master barber's licensing and all that. I'm still a student. Technically, the COVID kind of ran through my schooling process, but we're still making it happen.
Oh, okay, great. So, how long have you been cutting hair?
Well, I've had experience cutting hair since since probably 2013. But nothing professionally, kind of, a Caesar cut here and there, a shape up here and there, maybe fixing, a little homegirl's eyebrows here and there, but not really anything that I could say I was a professional or even gearing towards being a professional until a few months ago.
So a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you just picked up skills little by little, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool, man. So are you working in a shop right now?
I actually have my own shop at the crib.
Oh, nice. So you're doing house cuts.
Yeah, I'm doing house cuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you?
Well, people are, as you probably know, people are very, skeptical and kind of nervous about, going anywhere, much more going somewhere where, to a complete stranger's house, because I get people who are recommended to me who've never, they don't know me, they just know that I'm a barber and they come through, but I could say I'm pretty good with the whole, guidelines, the, health, safety and all that type of thing.
Anybody been trying to lowball you for haircuts, being that it's a house call? Even though house calls are supposed to be more expensive, but people think they're supposed to be cheaper.
Correct, and I've had to let them know that, given the circumstances, I have to charge you more, given that I'm hooking you up.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Right.
So, all the barbershops are pretty much open. They opened up on Monday.
Right, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my own haircut the other day too, so I was pretty excited.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been with the same barber for like 12 years, so.
Oh wow, so you're loyal.
Yeah. I'm when it comes to my hair, truth, I don't play, and that's how I feel about being a barber. I want to be that guy that people say, that's my guy, and I'm not going anywhere. I don't trust my haircut with anybody else.
I understand that. I can see that. A lot of loyal clients out there. They love their barbers. They can't go to anybody else.
For sure, and some barbers, man, like my barber, like we know each other so long. We know our kids, we know our spouses. We celebrate birthdays together. He gives me a free cut on my birthday. Like, this dude is super cool with me already. Like,
right.
It's more than just a client. A client and a business type of deal.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Some barbers they give out birthday cuts. Me personally, there was one time a client of mine. He was down and out. He was unemployed, didn't have a job. And I just called him up one day, and I was like, "Hey, man, how you doing? Is everything all right?" And he just told me that he's having a hard time. And I said, "Come on through, man. I'll give you one on the house." I gave him a haircut. And he just couldn't believe it. He was like, "Wow." He was just in shock. And, but that's just how I give back to the clients sometimes. It's a good thing.
Right. Yeah, it is. It builds, it builds character, and it builds a bond between yourself and your barber. And you never know, when you're going to have the opportunity to move up or come up in a certain situation because you're so cool with your barber. Like, my barber's like, once you get your barber, your master barber license, let me know. I'll hook you up at this same shop. You cut out, you be my apprentice, here and there. So it's a cool relationship, It's more than just, I go get a cut and then I leave,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is there a shop that you have in mind that you would like to work in? I mean, don't give us the name, but is there some place where you have in mind that you'd like to work, and why?
I mean, there's a few chairs available at the shop that I currently go to.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said previously, my barber is willing to, and I know the owner and I know the barber, and my own barber, and he's giving him a good word and telling him that I'm in school and this, and showing him my work little by little. Okay, you're progressing. Whenever you get the barber's license, we could hook you up, test you out. So I'd probably do that initially, at least to jump the gun and get my feet wet.
Right. So it's a shop that you go to for haircuts, to cut your own hair.
Yeah, currently, as a client, yeah.
What borough is that? Where is that?
That's in Manhattan.
Oh, in Manhattan. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good busy area.
Yeah, and the location where it's at is very busy as well.
Okay, that's good, man. You got a game plan. That's what's important.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to know because I mentioned it earlier when we started talking to you. Uh, it's my understanding that you cut hair, you're a barber, and that you were sick with COVID-19. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, it was crazy. This all happened pretty much the beginning of April.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just all of a sudden, it's funny because my spouse, um, she had symptoms of COVID in February.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and we had no idea. We didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? We heard on the news, okay, there's this virus or whatever, and it's in China, whatever. When we're American, I'm like, it's not gonna get here or whatnot.
Right.
So I didn't have that in my mind. But she has asthma, so she already has a condition that would make it worse.
Oh wow.
She was having trouble breathing and things like that. So I was like, okay, maybe who knows what you got,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't know what was going on. So when she went to the doctor, they didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended there, and then in April, beginning weeks of April, I start getting these crazy migraines. It started with like a migraine, and then it became this just continuous super hot fever. I had a 104, 105 degree fever for like a week.
And do you think that you got it from your wife, or do you think you got it from cutting hair?
Oh, most likely I got it from my spouse, because I still didn't have the shop open immediately after, because as soon as the school closed,
Mm-hmm.
Because of the COVID, I hadn't hit that point where I was cutting hair to individuals yet, individual clients. So as I'm just home with my spouse, she already had it. I'm pretty sure they were saying on the news that you might not show symptoms until a while after, maybe weeks later, maybe a month later.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. My body was fighting with the symptoms low key, and then they just came out of nowhere like a month later.
Oh, wow. Were you still cutting hair, or did you stop once you knew you were sick?
Oh no, I mean, even if I would have wanted to cut truth, I wouldn't have been able to. I was like bedridden. Like it was pretty bad. It started with the super high fever. My stomach basically shut down. I couldn't eat like anything. Anything I had in my stomach would come up. I had extreme vomit. It was like a violent vomiting. It was horrible. I was basically on the floor all the time, because that's the only place where I felt comfortable. And even then, it was bad.
So you couldn't even work if you wanted to?
No, not even. I could, it got to a point where my blood pressure, because I have a little blood pressure to check your blood pressure, the little machine, and my blood pressure was super low. It came a point where I collapsed 2 days in a row. Yeah, because my blood pressure was so low. It was really bad, and it was getting worse, because I was getting each symptom. I was getting like, let's say every 2 days I'll get a new symptom.
Right.
So it was like, and I would add on to the symptoms.
And ultimately, what was it that made you feel better? Was there a medicine that you took? Was there some type of food that you ate?
Honestly, truth, it was just time. I didn't do anything. There was nothing that I would take that I would keep down, because it was either I was dehydrated because I had like a severe diarrhea, or I was throwing up, or I just couldn't eat, because even if I drank water, I'd throw it up. Like it was like I don't wish it on my worst enemy. It was a really bad experience.
Wow. So I don't know if you know, but I'm sure you've been watching the news, and there's people out there protesting that they don't want to wear masks, that it's against their constitutional rights, and all that other stuff. But did you know that there's barbers out there as well that are not wearing protective gear? They actually think that the masks are nonsense, and the temperature checks and the whole procedures they just don't agree with it. What message would you have for those barbers that think this is all a joke, it's a conspiracy theory, it's not possible that it could happen to them? What would you say to them?
In the beginning, I was a bit skeptical. I mean, I'm the type of person that very rarely gets sick. You know what I mean? So you could think you're a tough guy, like all you want.
Oh, so you were one of those people.
Yeah, I've always been a skeptic about certain things because I've always been so strong. Like I can say that I have a strong immune system. I very rarely get sick, but this is the type of thing that happens to you, and you open your eyes to to reality and to know that your body could just break down very simply by a virus like this. It'll catch you and it would just throw you on the floor like it did to me.
The reason I'm asking you this,
very careful with it.
The reason I'm asking you is because the barbering community, I think, needs to really be aware. They need to be told how serious this is, because a lot of them really don't take it serious. So this is why, even though you didn't catch it by cutting hair, but being that they're cutting hair, they are more at risk because they are coming into close contact with clients.
Right. And I mean, this is just my assumption that I got it from my spouse, but honestly, I don't. You don't know who you're gonna come in contact with that has and it's been proven that certain surfaces can harbor the virus,
of course,
for a certain amount of hours or things like that, depending on the type of material that it is, whether it be steel or wood or whatnot. So it's like, man, just be safe, because let's say okay, the virus, okay, it's no big deal. Let's say it's no big deal. I'm not gonna get it, but why would you run the risk? Why would you risk your family, anybody else who you're connected with or connected to, because you want to be a tough guy, you don't want to wear a mask, or you don't want to feel uncomfortable. I mean, it's better to feel uncomfortable, for a little bit than to, feel very uncomfortable for a long time.
So what would you say? What would you say to those barbers?
Man, I just tell them to, honestly, just.
Is it a joke? Is it a joke? Is it something that not to worry about?
Not at all. It is something to worry about, because my biggest fear was, I don't want my daughter to catch this. You know what I mean?
Right. How old is she?
She's 3.
Oh wow.
So I didn't, and God is good. She didn't catch anything. I was actually shocked. She didn't have any symptoms, nothing. My wife had a few rough symptoms, and then I had basically every symptom in the book. Because I ended up even having the trouble breathing towards the end. But, I just time, and your body has to fight it. But I tell those barbers, man, just, suck it up for a little bit, get your money safely, because it's not like your client is going to be like, don't cut my hair. They're there, just be safe,
So there's one thing I wanna bring back up that you just said. You said you had trouble breathing towards the end. I thought that was a symptom that is telling you when you actually have the COVID. So you got it towards the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got it via like this really really rough, dry cough that would produce a lack of my lack of oxygen. Like I would cough, and then I would lose my breath to the point where I felt like I was choking. It's a very interesting experience, especially for somebody who's never been this sick before. I never felt this before. So now I know it's no game. It's not a joke. So
you thought you were getting over it, and it just gave you the finale.
And it hit me with a second wave. Like, I thought, honestly, truth, I really thought I was going to die. I really thought so.
And you didn't go to the hospital. You didn't go to the doctor at all.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I tried to call, I called the hospital, can I come in, this and that. The first thing they would ask me, and it was in the beginning stage, do you have trouble breathing? And I didn't have trouble breathing.
Right.
And now, one could say, oh, you should have just lied and been like, yeah. But, if I go to the hospital sick, I'm not only getting other people sick, I could risk really getting worse, because what if I come in contact with somebody that's like really sick with COVID and to a lethal degree? then I'll get worse. You know, so I had to, you know, kind of weigh my options. You know, so you know, towards the end, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna rough through it, because towards the end, that's all I had. You know, trouble breathing and whatnot. You know, everything else had gone. You know, the headaches and the fever and the stomach, and but it was a long process. I say I was sick for about 4 weeks, good month. I was
Wow.
like really sick. Yeah.
That's a long time to be down and out, man.
Yeah, I mean, I lost 28 pounds.
Whew.
Yeah, because I basically ate nothing. I was drinking water and you know, Gatorade. I had those little Gatorade, like they have these little like gummies, like Gatorade gummies. It's like it gives you like a burst of energy or whatnot, like electrolytes. So that's what I was running on. That was my little bit of fuel, if I could keep it down. You feel me? Because it was, it was pretty bad.
Wow. So, at any point when you were sick, right? At any point, I mean, I know you see what's going on in the news with the barbershops and the barbering and all the stuff, that the precautions they're telling barbers to take. Did you ever feel that you might not want to be a barber anymore with all that's been going on, the fact that you already felt the wrath of COVID?
I mean, you know, I say one thing, I say the other, because I'm the type of person that, you know, I'm a go-getter. I want to, you know, strive to be the best at what I'm trying to do, perfect the craft. So I didn't really ever not want to be a barber. I was like, okay, now I'm gonna have to adjust. Now,
So it hasn't scared you away?
Yeah, no, not at all. I just, you know, now I'm more cognizant of, you know, the precautions that I have to take to keep myself safe and keep the clients safe, you know.
So you would take all the precautions that's going on with all the PPE, that what the governor is telling the barbers to do, you would do all that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, number one, you want to stay safe. Number two, why would you risk your, you know, if this is what you want to do, this is what you love doing, why would you risk your, you know, because now it becomes a career now. So why would you risk, you know, being the best barber that you could be over some, you know, over a mask or some gloves?
I mean, they're saying that the mask cut off your oxygen. Do you think that's true?
I can't lie. It's a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna say it's not, but it's doable. You know, it's not like like you're dying every time you put it on. You know.
Well, you know, I think it's better to have a little mask on than to put your life at risk in general. You know, and people who are complaining about the oxygen factor and all this and that, they're missing the big picture. The big picture is you're putting yourself at risk, and also people that you know, possibly loved ones. And I heard somewhere that you walking around without a mask is the equivalent of being a drunk driver. You're just being careless, and you're putting other people's lives at risk and yourself at risk.
That's actually a pretty good comparison. I mean, you know, that's pretty close. You know, you're basically giving out your disease or spreading the virus like selfishly. You know what I mean? Because you want to be tough, or you want to do things your way, and it's harmful. You know.
Definitely. So, where do you see the future of barbering moving forward? Do you think this is going to get better, or do you think it's going to go back to the way it was?
I mean, honestly, I feel like barbering with this whole new, you know, PPE guidelines and all that, I feel like it's made barbers a little cleaner. I feel like barbers, after they get their master license, you know, they get a little lazy, or they want to do things a certain way.
So you think it's keeping them on their toes?
Yeah, I feel like it's making barbers better. You know what I mean? Making them safer,
making them step up.
Cleaner. yeah, I think so.
Yeah, some barbers needed that wake up call.
Honestly, yeah.
So do you think everything's gonna be back to normal one day?
If it is gonna get, like, you know, quote unquote back to normal, I don't see it happening within the next year. I say 2-3 years. until we, finally find or they finally come up with a good vaccine,
Right.
to counteract this virus. But I still feel that people are gonna be able to have, because sometimes it takes something like this to be able to be a little bit safer. So I feel like this woke up a lot of people, especially people that are in a hygiene based type of business like barbering. So I feel like this is going to be better in the long run, even though you're going to be a little uncomfortable, but it's still going to provide a little extra safety. It used to be a certain group of people that we would see with masks on and be like, yo, why they got masks on? But they felt like they were safer. And, you'd be like, yo, this person's, they exaggerated. But now we see the effects. And me personally, having experienced it firsthand, I'm like, I'm putting on the mask. It's going to, I don't care what happens. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use the mask because you're breathing in my face. I'm breathing in your face. What harm could it do? It can only do good.
Exactly. So the biggest misconception about the masks that people get is that it's going to protect them 100% or 90%. What the reality of the mask is that it helps to protect people from getting exposed by people who are already sick. So let's say if you're sick, you put on a mask, it's going to be a little harder for people that are around you to get COVID if you have it, because you have the mask and you're keeping all the virus a little bit more contained because you have a mask. You're not breathing it out openly into the air, and so that's how it helps protect, I believe. As far as the people who are wearing the mask, unless you're wearing something that's completely airtight with one of those oxygen tanks or something, it's pretty much not. The mask is not going to protect you personally. It's just going to help for those who have it already from spreading it into there. So it does help. 50%. It's a little 50% safer than not wearing it, I believe.
I agree. And here at the crib, I'm obviously going to take way more precautions because this is my house. Right. And I got my family here, so I got to make sure, I sanitize. I did my little research, see what kind of, sanitizer is the best sanitizer for whether it be for countertops or for this or that. And I sanitize all my gear. I sanitize everything, where the client's going to be, where the client's going to walk. The client comes in, they got to take off their shoes. They got to wash their hands. They got to put hand sanitizer after they wash their hands. They have to have a mask. But when they come with a mask, I take the extra precaution. They come with one of those, disposable masks. I have a box of disposable masks, so I give them a fresh mask when they get here. Before they sit down, they got to put on the fresh mask, and then we go from there.
So if somebody wants their beard done, would you do the beard?
I've been doing the beard, but I have been doing it to a degree where it's like, kind of edges and things like that. Like,
so you're taking off the mask?
If the nose is exposed.
Yeah. You got to take off the mask to do the beards and the mustache.
I haven't been doing mustaches. I've been doing just, how you line up the beard on the top and a little bit underneath the neck. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't go in depth because
you do that with the mask on, or you take the mask off?
Yeah, I move the mask little by little. Like, I don't really, it's not going to be, I let them know. It's not going to be, because they want their beard done. I'm letting them know it's not going to be the best work, because of the situation. But and a lot of clients are like, whatever, I'm looking crazy. Just do what you can, so.
Okay, well, it's, as far as I know, government procedures, they're telling barbers to be careful. If you do the beards, they would prefer you don't.
Yeah.
But again, it's at the discretion of the barber if he wants to do it. So it all depends.
Yeah, it all depends.
Yeah, so I hear that there's some hair shows coming up. And I hear there's one coming up in August. And a few more after that. also. What I wanted to ask you was, do you think that you would attend one of these shows? Like, they say the one in August, for instance. I mean, you know the cases are going up across states in the country. Cases are going up Florida, they're going up in Texas, and a couple of other states, they're going up pretty heavy, and the numbers are coming out. But come August, would you go to a hair show?
I mean, I'm really skeptical about things like that. I mean, if they're gonna have the proper, guidelines, if they're gonna follow the guidelines, the whole 6 feet seating and all the masks and all the, they got hand sanitizer in the spot. It all depends, I guess.
You think it's too early? You think they should be doing hair shows at all?
Probably, yeah, probably. But that all depends what kind of venue they're looking at. If it's a pretty open space.
Yeah, it's usually done like in a warehouse type setting.
Yeah, if that's the case, and they're following everything that they can follow, and when it comes to like guidelines and things like that,
right?
I'd probably attend. But none of this. Oh no, you can come in here. We got this going on. It's got to be a very professional setting. If I'm gonna go in there, because I've already got it, and
right.
I've heard on through the scientists coming on the news and everything that it's not like the flu. You get it one time in the season and then it's over. You could like get it again. So I wouldn't look forward to getting it again.
You haven't had any funny occurrences? Some people say they get sick again, or they feel a little funny after they've been sick with it, and they get over it. You haven't had anything go on, right?
No, man. I've been really good after I was after I came out of it. I've been really good. I've been I little by little I started eating and I was able to keep food down. It was it was a process, but I've been good. I've been good ever since.
How long ago did you have it?
Well, yeah, it was pretty much beginning middle of April, and then I had it basically until the beginning of May, pretty much.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right, so
it was tough.
So do you think after this entire experience with the whole lockdown, the quarantine, and based on the risks that barbers take, do you think prices for haircuts should be permanently raised, and why?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the raising of prices.
Really? There's some barbers that are reluctant to do it. They don't want to do it. They're scared.
I think that you are going to charge according to what you believe is the rate, according to your skill level. You can never sell yourself short, and I feel like the amount of extra work that the barber is going through now currently with the whole situation, PPE, everything, all the care that they got to take, precaution. I feel like if they have to move up in price, you're gonna have to understand. Mm-hmm. I've been with my barber for 12 years. He hasn't really gone up that much. When I got my first haircut with him, the haircut was $18, and now he charges $45.
Oh.
So it's not a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
But there've been people who throughout the years, they get a little like, I feel like you charge it too much, this, that. And he's like, listen, this is the price, you know what I mean? Things go up, I gotta go up, you know what I mean? So, I feel like it's about not selling yourself short, but now with the whole COVID thing, it's like, look at everything I gotta go through so that you can sit in your chair and look as fresh as possible. I feel like you gotta look at that as well.
All right, well, all the PPE you gotta buy, and the masks, and all the equipment.
I mean, you gotta buy stuff. Somebody gotta replenish you for or reimburse you for the things that you got to purchase. You not only are you getting top quality products for their hair or whatnot, but you also being as safe as possible. I think that should be something that the client takes into consideration. I know I do.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I've always felt was long overdue, which is there where prices are supposed to go up. They were supposed to go up a long time ago, in my opinion, but for some reason the barbering profession has been neglected when it comes to everyone coming together and saying let's all raise the bar for this trade in general, and let's just charge what we deserve to get paid. And so I think that a lot of barbershops are underpaid, they're underpriced, and they're still stuck in the 80s, charging these ridiculously low prices, and they need to catch up with the times, because everything, like you said, everything is a little bit more expensive. Commercial spaces are not cheap.
Yep.
And a lot of these barbershops struggle, and they even have to close down sometimes, and they wonder why. It's because they're charging these prices from back in the 80s and the 70s, and they need to catch up, because especially now with this whole COVID thing, like you said, it costs extra to keep up with the sanitizing and all the extra things that you have to do now. So definitely the prices need to go up, and it's a shame that some barbershops reopened on Monday and they're still charging the same prices, if anything cheaper, because they feel like, hey, let's give everyone a break because something's going on now and people are struggling and they don't have money because they're out of work or they're on unemployment. But what about the barbers? What about what we went through, where they didn't want to let us work, they didn't want to let us open the barber shops. We were struggling with no unemployment, no help. What about the barbering world? So this is where a lot of barbers tend to, pretty much devalue the prices of haircuts, and it's hurting. It's hurting the industry.
I agree. Like you said previously, coming together. I feel like, movements, whatever the type of movement it would be, are not gonna, they're not gonna get the attention. They're not gonna get what they're asking for unless they all come together. I feel like, barbers should have like an association. You know what I mean? Like they should get together and they should be setting rules.
Yeah.
And they should be the ones, okay, this is gonna be the main, like the MTA. When the MTA, they go up 10 cents, 15 cents. People get upset, but listen, you gotta feed, you got a lot of mouths to feed. You got a lot of people to pay, and yeah, your commute is gonna go up.
Right.
At the same time, you gotta pay for the guy that's cleaning the train. You gotta pay for the guy that's conducting the train.
Exactly.
So it's like it's a revolving door. It's not just, you're not the only one, spending money. Everybody else got to spend money to get something else as well. So,
and it's a good thing that you mentioned MTA, which is Metropolitan Transit Authority. It's a good thing you mentioned them, because I kind of look at barber shops in a similar fashion. Everybody's so busy competing with each other, but let's look at barbering like if it were train stations. If you're going to a train station and one train station is offering a cheaper toll, a cheaper fare than another train station, you're going to keep going to that one train station thinking that it's a better deal. But if all the train stations were to raise the prices to the same fare, it doesn't matter. Wherever you go, it's going to be the same price. Everybody's going to eat the same.
Exactly.
And the biggest mistake that these barbers make, these barbershops, they think by dropping the prices so low, it's going to help them get more clients.
Right.
And so it's a big misconception, because I know a lot of barbershops that are expensive and they still get the clientele, but it's because of the service, not because of the prices.
Right. And at the same time, you basically, like I said before, you're selling yourself short. It was funny, because now that we're talking about this, I was at the shop, getting my own cut, and there was another barber that I'm really cool with as well. He was across from my barber, and the client previous to me, I got in the chair after him. He did, my barber did a really sick scissor cut on this man. He did the whole nine, and he hooked him up, had him fresh. And the other barber's like, you did a really good job, and then that's really nice. I love how you did that. And he's like, so how much do I owe you? And he's like, such and such. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 18 plus the tip, 19. And then the other barber got upset. He was like, listen to me, you think that's a $19 cut? He was like, no, I'm just playing. So it's like, bro, don't play like that. Like, he's like, don't. He got offended. It was funny to watch. He was like, yo, you really think that's a $19 cut? You see what he did to you? Like, you see how you look when you walked in? So it was like,
it's ridiculous.
It's like, it's I'm the type of person, man. If I don't got it, then hey, I'm a wolf it until I got the money to pay whatever the price may be. Because if I know that my barber's a beast,
yes,
I'm in there. I'm in there because I need the service. So it's like you got to get accustomed. You got to get people accustomed to. Do you want to look fresh? You want to look. You want to go to your girl's house and she, run her fingers through your hair.
Absolutely.
And all this. You want her to be like, oh wow, like barber's crazy, or you want people to ask you who your barber is. You got to pay the price. Like it is what it is. This is what it is.
Exactly. I don't know who decided to make barbers the poor man's haircut. You got some barbers out there that they got a good heart and they're like, yeah, I want to help the community and this is why I'm keeping my prices so low. But you got to look at other businesses, other companies. Are they dropping their prices so low because they want to help the community? Sometimes they will give coupons or specials, but their prices for certain items will be at normal prices. They give back to the community in different ways. They don't necessarily have to devalue their product to give back to the community. There's ways that you can give back without having to do that.
I agree. I mean, you can't go into supercuts with that vibe.
Oh no.
What I mean?
Oh no,
They're
that's not gonna
gonna
work.
be like, you don't like the prices, there's the door.
Exactly.
I feel like honestly, it happens in a lot of our communities, minority communities, where we feel like we need like a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we need to get with the program when it comes to that because it's a competitive market. Being a barber is very competitive.
Yes. And that's one of the downfalls of why our prices stay so low. That competition, the fear of the competition, and also just having confidence in their work. Some of these barbers are not confident enough to charge.
I agree, and they're hesitant to charge what they think they should charge, but at the same time they're hurting themselves because they're out here buying. Like, come on.
They're not just hurting themselves; they're hurting the business in general. Because
exactly.
when a customer goes to another shop and that barber who's been in the game and they know what they're worth, they give a price. The customer comes out and says, "Oh, that's too much," or "Why so expensive?" Because the last barber didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he was charging a ridiculous price.
And then you got all these things you need to get. For example, if you want to, I for one, I want to treat the client the best possible. The best possible way. So I want to get the top-notch, gear, whatever, clippers, trimmers. I need the best gel. I need the best, holding cream. I need the best everything because I want the client to be like, yo, he's really going, like, off on my haircut. So if I'm going off on your haircut, that means you got to pay me what I asked for because, the other day I was talking to my brother-in-law and it was like, yeah, I got my cut, whatever. And I was like, how much your barber charge? He's like, $12. I was like, hold up. Did you just say $12, bro? It's
yeah.
2020.
Oh, wow. He went back to the 1970s. He's back there.
A $12 cut? Like, everything? Like, I'm like, wow. I really couldn't believe it, Truth. It was like $12.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
not even a shape-up for me.
That's terrible.
Like, come on.
That's terrible. Well, listen, Eric, that's all the time we have. But I wanted to thank you for coming on again. And I'm glad that you got over your situation with the COVID. And it's definitely inspiring to know that you are still going to be cutting hair even after experiencing that. Because it is risky to be a barber these days. But definitely, I wish you luck. And let me know when you get your license, man. We'll bring you back on.
Awesome, Truth. It's been awesome being on the show. It's been a pleasure as usual. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
All right. So that's it. Eric is he just finished talking with us, and so I hope that that was helpful for a lot of barbers out there to understand the risk, and that it is serious, and that there are barbers out there that are experiencing this COVID situation. Even though this gentleman, Eric, did not catch the virus while being a barber, but he did experience it, and it kind of cut into the fact that he had to continue to try and find a way to make ends meet. And so it definitely interrupted that, his barbering time. So, but everything turned out okay, and all the barbers out there, make sure you stay safe and have a good one. You've been listening to the Whole Truth Podcast. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy your day.